Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3.
What up, what up? Welcome everybody to episode 12 of Web3 Weekly Alpha. I'm your host, Serpunk, and here's what we do is we'll cover everything that happened in the digital renaissance within the last week. We're going over charts, we're going over sales, we're going over all the news in NFT land and crypto as well. So sit back, thank you for joining me again, and we're going to cover everything in the wonderful world of Web3. Starting off with our first segment, as always, is going to be the charts. Trying to figure out where the crypto cycle is currently. Right now, Bitcoin, as we've been looking for the last several weeks, is sort of had a big move off the bottom, but we're kind of running into some more significant resistance. This is the monthly chart, as we've got a new month here. And it's clear here that there's a lot of supply up here in this 32,000-ish area. And I'm not sure how much more we're going to rip through that. So I'm not getting too excited in the short term, trying to see what the market's going to do. But I would say most of that juicy move has already happened from the bottom, and we're getting closer to the top of that range. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum's at resistance right now. The monthly's closing below that resistance, below that $2,000 mark. Let's see if we can recover that level and try to get through there again. If not, I suspect we can just kind of expect chop moving forward. This is Solana. Solana's holding up. I mean, I'm not even going to go through all alt charts because altcoins are really not doing much. But I just want to pull up this Solana chart, and it's looking like it's going sideways for now. It's still below the significant support level of 2762. So not much going on there. Besides, of course, the one outlier in almost any market right now that's absolutely pumping is your favorite meme coin, the meme of memes, PEPE. It's going parabolic today. And everybody's going crazy on Twitter. What's funny is that the PEPE account actually removed the Trump-looking red hat off of their logo on their PFP. The community voted for no hat. Let's make meme coins great again, and they removed it. I thought that was actually a smart move, and it was kind of cool they got the community involved. But the community and the people are really speaking up for this PEPE coin. I mean, I've seen it all over my timeline on Twitter this week. It's taking over. There's people buying ads in Manhattan for it. Wall Street Bets has changed their Facebook page to Wall Street PEPE, and they're also making content where they're going back and forth in public with the Dogecoin Twitter account, and I think it's kind of a funny little rivalry that is bringing a little bit more attention to the debate. But that's going crazy, and that's really the only thing. I can't find anything else that's doing that well. Let's jump into some NFT charts. They don't really look that great. We thought we were going to get some relief rallies, but let's hop in. Crypto Dick Butts is on this long-term support line. Again, volumes are anemic. The blur farming is still continuing. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of new organic demand. So a lot of these bounces that should be occurring at these sort of support levels, they're really weak so far, and we're going to be seeing that. I just thought this was funny. Crypto Dick Butts somehow in this kind of market is still above 1 ETH. But it's down. It's at the support line. Captains, we know Meme Land is one of the leaders of this cycle where they've shown this rare strength, still holding up above their breakout levels. Potatoes, same thing, breakout, holding up. I finally learned a little bit more about what the hell Meme Land is trying to do. So if you are also were like me and you were lost on exactly what their vision was, there's a little bit more about that. So they said they were building a few social-fi products. They're building 4 websites. Holders.com will be like the TripAdvisor of Web3. PFP is Proof of Fandom Protocol. GMGM.com will be Web3 OnlyFans, but with clothes, apparently. And then Stakeland, making crypto staking fun. And then they state down here that the Web3 strategy is a 3-part strategy. The NFTs will be for the community building, which we know is a great tool for that. Tokens is for creating and decentralizing value, which is, I'm assuming, will be accessible within all these websites and products they're building. And then the product is, of course, to reach the masses, actually get people using what they build. So a little bit more on Meme Land. Maybe that's why people are so bullish, or maybe it's because people are just trying to farm the meme coin that they're dropping, which we know how Web3 people are. That's most likely the case. Let's jump into some of the leaders as well. Bored Ape and Mutants. Starting off with Bored Ape. This was a logical spot for price to bounce right above the 40 ETH mark. So far, it is absolutely weak. and it's not a good sign. So if we get back below that level, I mean, look out below if we get below this level, because there's a lot of times that this has been supported, and below that, I don't know, there's a lot of air. Same thing with mutants. Mutants are holding up above that 10 ETH mark for now. But again, if this market continues the way it has been, below that mark, look out below. You don't know how low things could actually go. Azuki, we know it's been also one of the rare ecosystems that are holding up strongly. It's holding up above their support, 14 ETH, but it's just been sideways the last couple of weeks. Nothing much going on there. Same thing with Beans. Beans is sort of in this triangle thing above support. And it's just kind of up and down. There's really not much going on. But the thing with Pudgies is the Pudgies is actually one of the rare projects that's bouncing off a critical support level. We know that this 4 ETH mark has been important multiple times, and it's recovering it for now. So would be a logical spot, but again, the space is just very iffy right now. CryptoPunks have just been down only for weeks. When are people going to start scooping up these grails? Nobody really knows. This is getting interesting around the 50 ETH mark. I mean, some people paid some serious money during the peak of the top of the bull market. At what point do these people start saying these are a discounted grail? D-Gods, we know that the peak euphoria was that migration. I mean, it was kind of obvious. There's no guarantees in the market, but that's when all the attention was on D-Gods, and it's came down significantly since then. It's just kind of holding up now. Let's see if it can hold up this level. And hopefully sideways is like the most we could be asking for in this market. Killer Bears pulling back to this support line, trend line. This would be a logical spot to get some relief. Miladies somehow breaking out. We hear the Milady community is behind the PEPE coin, and a lot of that money is funneling back into community. That could be the reasons for the strength of the project. I don't really know much about this project. I don't really know about the Milady community. So a lot of them are kind of weird and crazy. So I don't know why this thing is breaking out in a sea full of red. Campai Pandas broke that support. It was a pretty important spot after a mean move. And that's, just doesn't really look too good for the meantime there. Pixelmon, one of the rare ones as well, has been showing strength. We know that they've turned things around. We've talked about that previously, but it's holding up. It's still somehow holding up, holding green. And let's see if we can get above this 1 ETH mark, or if it's just going to be like everything else in the last several weeks and just be a dud. Doodles, they had some big news this week. We'll be covering that. 2 ETH mark seems to be the level most of the previous, aka blue chip NFT projects are sort of hanging out at. I mean, it's been down bad, relief rally at some point, most likely. But again, look, Artifact here at the 2 ETH mark. I know that's where they minted. I know that because I minted at that price, 2 ETH, which was a lot of money back then. It still is now, but it's just crazy how much it's done in between, and now it's back at that 2 ETH. Moonbirds had another situation this week that we're going to cover. Community is a little bit upset about it, but not everybody is. So we'll be covering that. This is also around that 2 ETH mark. Let's see if we can get some interest there. Oh, Pepin, you know what? I was just speaking to a buddy of mine, shout out to Stone Capone, where we're like, man, usually when a project is about to reveal the art, as Pepin is right now with Jack Butcher, you get some sort of excitement, and the price reflects that. But we're actually not getting none of that. It's actually going down before even the reveal, which either goes to show people are not as excited about Pepin as we initially thought, or NFTs are really just that dead. And it's actually breaking support. And the NFTs haven't even revealed. Usually the price drops after reveal. But this is just, I guess, it really illustrates the weakness across the board right now in the ecosystem. Nakamigos, just bringing it up because I know people were going crazy over this a couple weeks ago. Hit a max high 0.8 ETH and pulled back all the way to 0.2. I mean, not too surprising. Nothing really lasts too long in the space unless it's something really, really special. And, I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be talking about this project in general, right? I thought this was funny. We've been talking about the skins that have been selling for over $200,000 in the video game CSGO. Apparently somebody charted the prices for these skins. As you can see here, this chart, the prices went absolutely parabolic, right? If this was a stock or a crypto or anything else, you'd be like, oh my God, I need to get the hell out of this thing. It's extremely extended, going parabolic. But apparently that's what's happening in the CSGO skin economy. So you can actually check out the charts for any of the skins on this website, Price Empire. So go check these out. These are the centralized aka NFTs, right? All right, let's jump into some of the market stuff. Some volume, some dynamic things affecting supply and demand, all these things in the market. Icebergy. Apparently, there's people making YouTube videos about NFTs and saying they're dead and it's over. Usually, these are bottoming signs when everybody thinks something's dead. I don't know, right? It's just the volume's still anemic, and the blur farming has really just been a unique aspect that's just not wanting to bring any organic demand back in until I feel like that slows down. But you're starting to see this stuff, and I like paying attention to it. Shout out to NFT Statistics, where he says one of the weakest weekends for volumes in months and felt across exchanges. OpenSea still at levels unseen since a couple years ago in July 2021. Blur had its lowest level since Airdrop 2 season began. As you can see, volume just continues to trend lower and lower. How low can it go before it just absolutely evaporates? The whole ecosystem just gone. NFT Statistics, again, this was an incredible illustration. I appreciate this from him, where he says, an interesting chart from today's show shows that people selling NFTs are selling at big losses really recently, day in and day out. So literally, people in the NFT space are absolutely just burning money away. They have been since the beginning of the year. As you can see, there's really not been any days where there's been a net profit. When you push the chart back, obviously during the Pico bull market, when things were euphoric, people were making tons of profits, all of us, right? And literally, it's completely done a 180 and flipped to the other side, and it's just been down only. So how long can this go before blur farmers capitulate, the last people holding Bored Apes or whatever it may be capitulate? I don't know what's going to happen, but this can't last forever, right? People just losing money. People run out of money at some point and things just stall out. All right, shout out to Arcade, where they're a lending platform for NFTs, where they said they set a few records this week, which is interesting, right? Because you would think that the volume is so low, there's nobody participating, but somehow they're breaking records for NFT loans. As you can see, loan volume 4.5 mil, loan count 90 loans, 44,000 is the average loan. So pretty interesting, right? Could it be that people are taking loans out because they're down that bad, or are they really, are people really just doing other things with their money when they loan them out? They go into DeFi, or what are they doing? I'm not really sure why this is taking off like that while the NFT market volume is anemic. But you can see here that the loan count is breaking out to all-time highs. Weekly sum of loans is breaking out to all-time highs. 44,000 average size loan. So not sure what's going on there, but I think that's an interesting thing to keep in mind right now. Okay, something happened with Blur this week. And they responded. But first, I'll start with the comment here. Jess, she said another one transaction a few days ago. Please review this. I might find a lot like these. So there are transactions where people are getting front ran. So people putting in bin, shout out NFT Statistics, where he says the bots, and they're removing the Ethereum from the pool if the bot sees that someone is trying to sell, because they don't actually want to buy it, right? They're farming, they're bidding, and they're hoping not to buy anything. They just want the points. They get points for bidding, not selling. Lots of real market participants have left, but the real airdrop farmers are leaving too. Blur responded, and Swiss Ape puts it pretty straightforward here, where Blur farmers are withdrawing their bids as soon as they are about to get accepted. Hence, they farm points without the risk of actually having to buy anything. Blur responds and said, this kind of activity is very easy to detect on chain. All cheaters will be filtered from season 2. The bulk of the on-chain analysis will be conducted at the end of season 2, but to improve the experience, they will start filtering some of these wallets in the coming weeks. That's a while that people have to wait, right? Because this is a pretty significant problem. These people are cheating the system, and yeah, they'll be cleaned out and cleansed from any rewards, but this needs to be taken care of. Also, Blur hints at something happening on May 1st. It's time to shake things up. What could it be? I don't know. Are they creating a new feature where you can bid on traits on the platform? Or are they going to be talking more about Blur coin? I don't know what's happening there, if it's in regards to the token or not. Let's jump into large sales. There was actually quite a few this week. There's always rich people spending money somewhere. Shout out to Tony Babel, where he sold this beautiful animation for 22 ETH, $40,000. This is a bear market, but rich people will always spend money, and luxury goods still usually do well in bad times because rich people are still rich, right? This is a video. I encourage you to take a look at the video. It's very nice work. He's got this very unique cartoonish animation style, and he's sold a ton of pieces like this, and especially last year. And this is a pretty big sale in this kind of market, so congrats. Love to see that. Captains, this is one of the largest sales for a Captain's NFT. This is one of the rare ones. This was sold for 43 ETH, $82,000. Captains are still bringing in these high ticket price sales week over week. I wanted to notate this. Curated, which is a collective that collects Grail NFTs, in particular a lot of CryptoPunks, they just scooped up 2 CryptoPunks this week. When they buy something, it's not to flip. They're usually storing it for a while. They have a large collection of CryptoPunks. This is it right here. If there was more people like Curated who were buying CryptoPunks to store and hold because they believed in them, then the CryptoPunks floor wouldn't be dumping, regardless of the blur incentives, right? So if enough people were holding them in their wallets like this, regardless of blur incentives, price would be saying something different, right? But there's not enough people like Curated just yet, and that's why the price has been going down a lot more volatile. All right, Mad Lads, we know they exploded last week, Solana project, but they had a massive sale, their largest, $74,000, 3,420.69, of course. Solana, congrats, that project is absolutely on fire during very bad market conditions, but apparently the team is next level. They're creating a new software called Backpack, and people are excited, so shout out to him. Xcopy said, who just swept the floor? The grifter floor. And Flamingo, apparently, which is a DAO, apparently they swept the grifter's floor. So there's still people out there seeing value. Maybe we're closer to the bottom. Maybe we're not. I'm not sure. The blur thing is still going on, so still always a good time to be cautious. But some people are starting to see value in different things. This Captain's NFT, shout out to NFT Statistics, where he says 2 Kongs sell for 17 and 18.2 ETH. And this was actually the 3rd most rare type of Captains. So another large sale in that ecosystem. All right, Skulls by Lucci. Very interesting story. One of my favorite things to read about this week. I'm going to break it down. The Gravity of Midas. Cosmo D'Amici, famous Web3 collector, sold this to OSF, who we know is part of Rug Radio, and who was the one who dumped all the Bored Apes on Machi Big Brother with his friend Mando. He bought this for $151,000, 77 ETH. And here he says, thank you. He was very excited to meet Sam Spratt, the artist, and his wife in NFT NYC. He was extremely inspired, and it was his biggest NFT purchase in USD ever. So he is starting to see some deals and some conviction in certain artists, and this is a good time for people who believe that to possibly do that in terms of USD. So this one, there was not only one large sale in Skulls of Lucci, but 2, and both were bought by well-known collectors in the space. The first we just talked about, OSF. The second, who bought this for 75 ETH, $136,000, which was, I believe, an all-time high. As Sam Spratt says here, the new all-time high for the Skulls of Lucci. Guppy NFT sold to Bob Lucas for a trade of 75 ETH. And this is Bob. Well, if you're on Twitter, you know him from Web3 Twitter. He said, this talented artist has been on my radar, and I'm so happy to have this special piece for my vault. So shout out to Sam. Absolutely killer week for him. And he just gained some incredible collectors in the Skulls of Lucci Council. And that's what this is what the Council of Lucci looks like. So I encourage you to go on his Twitter and read the thread about the story of the Skulls of Lucci and how they came about. They were actually gifted to people who bid on his original project, and there's some big names in the space who are listed here. Very well-known group of people on the Council of Lucci. So a clarification from yesterday's Daily Show, I mentioned that Sam Spratt gave the Skulls of Lucci to friends. He made a mistake, but in reality, what I was just explaining, they were given to the bidders on his Genesis series, Lucci Chapter 1. So if you bid, and also if you bought some of his original work in Chapter 1, he made one of one skulls for you, and he gifted it to him. And these are some of the top sales of all time. And as you can see, this one sold for 75 ETH, and this one sold for 77. This artist, in the midst of a bear market, is still selling art at all-time highs. Congrats to Sam. Artifact, pretty decent sale. 45 ETH, $83,000 for this. I believe this is a demon artifact clone X. Gold Killer Bear for 26 ETH. Pretty solid sale for the Killer Bears right now, especially for a floor of just a couple ETH right now, right? As we went over earlier. 48 Yacht Club, 100 ETH. Trippy Captain Cheetah. Pretty solid traits. Pretty decent price. It is on the lower end for Trippy Apes, but again, it's not a great time for NFT PEPE Grail, especially. This D-God sells for 50 ETH. to the GOAT, Poke Panda. It's the biggest sale in ETH since the migration of Solana over to Ethereum. So DeGods continues to see some pretty large sales. So this NFT by Nina Chanel, Super Cool World, sells for 10.69 ETH. The floor is extremely low. It's like 0.2 ETH or something. And it was such a large sale. You might be asking, well, why? Well, apparently, and I've been seeing them all over my timeline. There's been a ton of sales recently. Nina Chanel has opened up prints for her art. Super Cool World. So people have been scooping them up lately and ordering themselves some prints that they had to pay for. But if you owned one, you can connect your wallet and you were able to print only one per piece of art. So if you bought one of her NFTs, connected your wallet, ordered the print, and then sold that NFT, nobody would ever be able to print that same exact piece of art again. And it's cool. You get the physical print. It comes with a QR code on the back with the authentication of who owns that NFT. So that's been going on with Nina, and she's a well-established artist in the Web2, the regular world. And this project came out in last June, but this printing is just happening now, and that's why it's been revived recently last week. Shout out to Jeremy Booth, where he sold this piece of art for $17,000, almost 9 ETH. He's got that old Western art feel that he's always creating. Very nice piece. Congrats to him. And a very, very large sale for a very, very rare card, PEPE, was sold to the one and only Vincent Van Dough, who we know is the king of Pepes. He runs the whole PEPE art scene where he drops several a week. And he bought it for 72.5 ETH, $140,000. These are some of the most rare cards out there if you are a PEPE connoisseur. And shout out to him. I think this is a good one. NFT statistics. I'm only sharing this one because we're going to be talking about some new news dropped from Yuga for 12-fold, but the price continues to trend lower. It sells for 20 ETH, one of the lowest, I believe. It's below mid price, and the news came out recently. So if you're eyeing something like this, things are getting pretty low here. Shout out to Conviction. He apparently has a lot of conviction in Azuki because he spent 105 ETH on this golden Kigu, and it joined his collection. There's only 27 of these apparently out there. And it doesn't seem like he's the type of guy to flip, but we don't know. He says he's holding it in his collection. Another huge sale in Mad Lads. Apparently, the women NFTs in this project are considered some of the grails. Sells for 24 ETH 2000 sold. Mad Lads continues with the activity in their ecosystem. Let's jump on into some of the new mints of the week. Stapleverse. Stapleverse, Jeff Staples, who's a well-known artist in the real world. He is already hinting at the art of his new PFP project that is bound to drop. That's called Sapiens. And I actually am a huge fan of the art. Super dope. Keep an eye out for that if you are interested. On-Chain Monkeys, we've talked about them dropping their art on Bitcoin. And we've mentioned them several times in the show, but it's actually happening now, and they're dropping the deets. It's happening late May. It's going to be priced at 0.08 ETH. And you actually have to apply. There's an apply process for a group of the NFTs they're selling, not all of them. But they say, we are launching our newest collection, On-Chain Monkey Dimensions, a groundbreaking collection of high-end generative art on Bitcoin. So it's generative 3D art. May 31st will mark a significant milestone on Bitcoin. So the first 300 of them will be minted straight on Bitcoin. And they're using sort of this Genesis DNA from MetaGod's exclusive Genesis collection. It's never been used before. And you can go on the website, and there's some they're selling to the public, and that's where you can apply. You go through some questions, connect your Bitcoin wallet, and you can go from there. A little bit more deets. There's going to be a total of 2,500 of these. 300 will be inscribed directly on on Satoshis from January 2009, the month Bitcoin went live. And then the other 2,000 will be held for On-Chain Monkey Genesis DNA holders. So those are the deets for that. And there is another drop that happened this week. It was a partnership between 10KTF, which we know was bought out by Yuga, and Puma. So these are what the shoes look like. You'll be getting a physical and digital version of these. Are you a fan? I'll leave that up to you. But they get customized with your PFP, that the NFT that you hold on the front of the shoe. So pretty cool. The only thing is this shoe is $800. But it's not just the physical shoe. You may be saying, well, that's a hell of a lot of money for one pair of shoes. It comes with the digital. And it also comes, so you can see here, level 2 footwear which gets you more points in the 10K TF missions, matching physical, and 1 Super Puma airdrop. So you get, I believe, a NFT from the Puma ecosystem. So it's a 3-in-1 NFT package. Is that worth $800? Arguable, but at least it's not just the shoe here. This is what the experience looks like on the website when you're actually minting for that NFT. They expire May 9th, so if you are interested in that, hop on it. A couple more details. Redemption drops on 10K TF Shop May 2nd, expires on the 9th. This has been a great drop for 10K TF. They've already made $660,000. 41% of the shoes have been minted so far. It's only been a couple of days since that time. So far, so good for them. And Jack Butcher continues to drop more info. We talked about PEPEs, where they're soon to be revealed, but the price is not getting excited about that. And that's very unusual. It just shows how weak the market is. But nonetheless, drop 1, drop 2 incoming will be an opt-in system with a 48-hour window starting this weekend. Reveal is early next week. So we'll be showing that reveal next week on the show. Stay tuned for that. If either pack isn't oversubscribed, art won't drop and we develop a new pack. So pretty cool concept here. So you get to see the art before the reveal. If enough people subscribe to it, then that is the art that gets updated on the metadata of your existing PEPE NFT. It's not another mint. It's not a burn. Your metadata gets updated. But if not, if the community does not subscribe and basically vote that that's not the art they want, then it doesn't get updated as that, and he will develop a new pack. Shout out to Grant Yoon, the legendary Web3 artist with this unique style, and he sells out. Nifty Gateway says the site-breaking drop of over 27,000 collectors. I don't believe that number. There's barely 27,000 wallets that are active in NFTs right now. It's probably a lot of bots and a lot of things happening in that number. But either way, it sold out almost instantly. But it wasn't such a smooth drop. We have a couple people here complaining about how it went down. Way to do a victory lap for one of the worst drops in NFT platforms. I can't recall in 2 years a drop going smoothly on your website. I don't care if missing another drop again. I'll never use your product anymore. 2023, and this is happening on your platform still. You aren't going to change. The people impacted should be compensated, but you won't, and you'll issue the same apology next time. So apparently this has been happening on NFT Gateway for a long time. People aren't happy with it. If you wanted one, you probably didn't get one. I don't know if it got botted or what, but mixed feelings there. But either way, if you got both of the NFTs, you got to mint, and you got to get the one larger piece. Shout out to MC Statistics for making this illustration. Follow him for NFT insight, but yeah, congrats to Yoon. This is a beautiful piece. It's called Life in Japan 2. As we know, he's already had Life in Japan 1 back in the day. NFT news. Let's hop right on in. I know it's a bear market, but somehow there's still always very exciting news, and especially this week. Ranga, one of the top projects out there. I know it's got a lower price, but it's got a strong community still. They announced that they expanded their team. They made some significant hires, and they are ready to jumpstart, and they're going to be starting a YouTube channel. They're going to start communication channels, and like the Rango Report, and they're going to start really working and doing some things with this new team that they've assembled. So take a look out for Ranga out there. Shout out to Danny, where she says today marks a truly momentous moment. She has been working on a collective piece of generative digital fashion with her new platform, Dryope.xyz, and what's surprising here is she's actually raised money for this project from significant people in the space. Rariant Fund, Cosmo, Flamingo DAO. We've talked about 2 of these people early in the show already. Variant Fund is Lee Jin and some previous investors from A16Z, and also G Money's a collector. Let's jump on into what the platform looks like. So apparently this is like high-end digital wearables, but they're generative digital wearables. As you can see, this is a generative garment, and you can click on it and kind of see the different patterns and colors and sort of the more details on this. So they're creating high-end generative wearables. They want to bring something different to the wearables, 3D wearable space. So shout out to her. Congrats on the raise, and congrats on the interest in this new platform. Keep an eye out for that. Pudgies are saying they're going to Las Vegas for the Licensing Expo in June. We love to see Pudgies continue to penetrate Web2 and use some of that playbook to build a Web3 brand. 90cc G Money's fashion Web3 brand. Really, I love following G Money because I think he's a smart guy and he's creative in how he includes his community in things. And I think he is really smart about the way he does things. And a good example is this, where we know he held that scavenger hunt during NFT NYC. It was one of the hits of NFT NYC. It looked like, at least from social media. 117 people actually finished the hunt, and they're going to be now put in a raffle to win something within the 23 prizes. One of them is an unminted Chromie Squiggle, which we know go for like A9 ETH right now. So that's nothing to squander about. He's giving away some Amit 1 passes, some of his shirts, Adidas NFTs, all sorts of things. So shout out to him. And also another leadership move by him that I'll be talking about here. But you have a 1 in 117th chance to win a Chromie Squiggle. That is very high odds to win something that's worth $80,000 that you can potentially win for participating in a scavenger hunt in New York City. Shout out to G Money. This was a really cool move, and I think that a lot of people are going to follow this. Starting Monday, the top 25 on the network points leadership, we have talked about previously on the shows, will be offered a free account affiliation for 9DCC. It's the highest acknowledgement for the 9DCC community to reward top community members. I fully expect other communities to follow this trend. So if you didn't know, there's corporate accounts now on Twitter, and you can add employees and anybody associated with your organization. But each one that you add is $50 a month. So actually money, well, how much does it cost for you to add each one of these people as an affiliate and get that 90cc badge on Twitter? And he told me $50 a month here. So if you're in that top 25, you're going to be able to rock this tag on your Twitter handle, and everybody would be able to see it when they see you communicate and go to your profile. So I think this is a big deal. I think this really makes you part of the community, and he's giving it away to the top people who have been participating. So shout out to G Money for leading once again. I told you earlier that 12Fold had some news that dropped this week within the Yuga ecosystem, and here it is. Shout out to Figgy, who is the leader of 10KTF, who now works with Yuga. 12Fold is the first work created by Yuga purely as art. But the work and its relationship with a collector does not have to be static, and it can change from one of the most important ingredients in this piece, time. The work has presented in a format that made sense for Satoshi inscriptions. It started off as 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, and it's been updated to 12 by 12,000 pixel format. And this is what it looks like. To give you a sense of how much bigger that is, here's the original in the left corner, and this is what the updated version looks like. And this is just zoomed in version of that, so it looks much bigger, much clearer, and much much more high quality. I think I don't remember looking this nice previously. He says they're very big, and they will actually be delivering physicals of these for those who are holding them. These will be delivered via white glove delivery service at no extra charge to collectors, and they'll be in touch soon to coordinate this. And yes, the last piece of alpha, that puzzle that they hinted at last time, will be coming next. Interesting, right? Now they're going to be introducing some gamification into art collecting, and I'm assuming it's Yuga that there's going to be some very nice prizes for the people who participate and score highly on these puzzles. So keep an eye out for that. Artifact, big week for Artifact. They are at they're debuting at GSI event out in Tokyo as we speak. And this is what the mint machine looks like. Like, this is literally a physical thing. I thought it was in the metaverse at first. It looks so crazy, but no, this is actually a thing people are currently visiting, and this is the Artifact mint machine. It looks next level. Shout out to Artifact, always taking things to the next level. Their posters have AR tech enabled, so when you scan that QR code, the Nike shoe comes out of your phone. Artifact, I think, is leading in the digital fashion space, and especially with the AR tech, which we know will be huge at some point in the future. Also, shout out to Nike Swoosh, where they leaked out some of the Air Force Ones that will be dropping in their Air Force One project that will be dropping here soon within their .swoosh. And what's interesting is that the designs are very crazy. Like, this one is a very unique design, but what I find interesting is that they can bring the shoe to life in these very unique ways, right? Like, this shoe is turned into a dog here. And in the metaverse, in these 3D worlds, there is really no restrictions. Like, you can take these shoes and take them to a whole nother level, and Nike understands that. Imagine Nike makes a shoe that's very rare that you can use in the game, and it helps you fly faster, or you know what I'm saying? Like, there is no limits. They can sell those shoes for the same amount, if not more, than physicals, because now they're open to a global community. They give you utility. Real shoes don't give you utility, right? And they can verify it all by being a part of their DAO Swish community and avoid a lot of the bots and stuff. So there's just, I think, a lot of exciting things that can be done there, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be. Artifact, continue the news here. As we know, they're owned by Nike. They're going to be giving away some digital collectibles in person if you are at the event. And there will also be randomly airdropping some of these collectibles to CloneX holders. Also, that they'll be giving some prizes away. Will be one of them will be a Murakami pill. A CloneX that uses the pill will receive 2 customized traits. Interesting. You're going to be able to update your CloneX, it seems. A new Takashi or Murakami designed background is one prize, and the other is a customization of a wearable trait. I wonder how much that will go for and how cool it'll look on the CloneX. Be looking forward to that. 3 of these pills will go to active community members. So, cool stuff happening in the Artifact ecosystem right now. We talked about the situation that happened with Moonbirds earlier. Let's break that down a little bit here. So, we know, and we covered that in the last show, that Moonbirds had their Diamond exhibition experience where they teamed up with 21 of some of the top artists in the Web3 space in the entire world, and they were rewarding some top-end art to their Moonbirds nesting holders, the ones that have been nesting since day one, the Diamond Nesters. Well, the problem was that the algorithm didn't optimize for people with multiple passes, and some and a lot of them ended up receiving the same artwork multiple times. So some people, and it was based on a system where you voted on the piece that you wanted the most. One, ranked it by first, second, third. And then, based on, how many people wanted a certain piece of artwork to be their first choice or the second choice, they would kind of raffle it off. But the algo kind of messed up, and it gave some people the same pieces of art over and over. So some community members were not happy about that. Shout out to Legendary, where he breaks a little bit of this down. The team wants to make sure that future art drops are not raffles like this one. They want to build an infrastructure that allows participants to use the tokens to get a guaranteed drop of the artwork they really want. The team was transparent about the issue and reacted quickly. They announced working on a new smart contract to reshuffle the drop for those who are unhappy with their pulls. So they're going to open it back up, and you can put one of those pieces that you got a duplicate of and get something unique out. And that's what they said here. We're writing a smart contract where you can choose to deposit your Diamond exhibition art and receive a new piece from the collection. As a token of thanks, we'll contribute some additional rare art, not in the original collection. They're going to buy some pieces, and they're going to put some Moonbirds and oddities into the mix so that you can potentially get some of those. So good solution, but again, I know people have been mad at Moonbirds because there's been a lot of issues with their drops and with their ecosystem throughout the year. It's unfortunate. I know they probably work hard on these things, but not exactly sure why. I know this is a new space, and sometimes things happen. But it's not everybody who was in this Moonbirds Diamond exhibition was upset. Apparently, this person, Sizzla, shout out to her or him, where does they say, a beautiful and unforgettable day. They were able to cop a Beeple, which has a 4 ETH floor now. And she was one of the early nesters, and it was an unforgettable experience of the highest quality. Thank you so much for my favorites. And off they go into the ledger. And she also got a Terrell piece, which we know he's been growing in a space. Super, super nice piece of work here. He's got his own unique style as well. So, both sides of a good and bad experience in that situation. Also with Moonbirds, they've teamed up with Mooniverse. Mooniverse created a digital Web3 world for Moonbirds holders. Here, Kevin Rose says, what if we had a place to host events, connect, explore art, and have conversations? And get out of Discord. Jeez, please. Oh, man. And so there's a sneak peek. It's a video. It takes you through the whole land. So that's cool. And some other big news. Moonbirds announces the Moonbirds Community Council. So these are the Moonbirds. These are real people behind these PFPs. How will it work? The council will meet twice a week with proof leadership to give feedback, share ideas, and keep an open line of communication between the team and the community. So I know that the leadership at Proof can't always be on top of everything that's happening because they're working. They're working the operations, right? But community is extremely important in Web3. So these people are going to serve as the bridge for the Proof team and the community to be able to communicate what they're getting in terms of feedback from their collectors. Moving on in to Claire Silver's AI contest. This is our fourth one. I want to showcase this because there were some pretty cool prizes, and I encourage you to go through the thread and see some of the things that people sent in and some of the finalists. There's just incredible things happening with AI artists out there, and it was very, very cool to read through that thread. First prize was 3, second 1.5, third 1. And the rules was 1 entry by April 14th. And the theme was make it collaborative, make it an innovative piece using any combination of tools as long as AI was a central part of it. It could be art, it could be music, it could be videos, it could be anything. It could be an AI panorama in VR. And these are some of the tools people are using for AI for video, picture, music, sound, all these kinds of things. So I love that Claire's doing this. She's really kind of curating this AI community as one of the top AI artists in the world, as we know. Some of her pieces sell for high ticket prices on Braindrops. Also, I purchased a lollipop from Lollipop Racing. I just stumbled across this on Twitter randomly this week. So apparently, the racing franchise of the future is here, produced by David Ayer, the Fast and the Furious, Training Day, and Suicide Squad, I believe, producer. And powered by Polygon Labs, built in Unreal Engine 5 and created by Feature.io. It's a next-generation experience from the creator of the Fast and the Furious, David Ayer, where episodic streaming, interactive gaming, and digital ownership meet. And apparently, the key to your race is this lollipop. You purchase yours to be the first to experience Lollipop, the racing franchise of the future. And these handmade and delicious lollipops will start shipping in 4 weeks. They're $10. I bought one. I just wanted to see what is happening here. If I got to spend $10 for a lollipop to find out, it's worth it. So cool stuff. I'm really hearing more and more big names entering the space. We know that the founder of Marvel Studios just joined the space with Echoes. We talked about him last show. Now we're getting the producer from the Fast and the Furious. It seems like every week there's a new name from Web2 that's done some really exciting things in their career that are branching into Web3 to launch their next phase of their creativeness. Moving on into the Yuga news. Shout out to CoinDesk, where this was actually pretty big. Yuga has tapped Mike Sievers, former EVP of development at Epic Games, which we know is the company that founded Fortnite, one of the biggest games in the world, as CTO to help lead its growth strategy. Sievers is stepping into a CTO role that is currently occupied by co-founder Kareem Atalay, who will remain on as its strategic advisor. So it doesn't seem like any of the original Yuga founders are actually running the operations anymore. They're kind of strategic advisors or something like that. Prior to joining Epic Games in 2021, Sievers was the CTO at Riot Games, which is the studio behind League of Legends and Valorant, which are some of the biggest games in the world. So Yuga has really taken some real large talent from the Web2 world, gaming world, and has now put them in the positions to run Yuga moving forward. So it's really becoming a gaming company, it seems, with these new hires. Shout out to them. Doodles. We knew they were partnered with Pharrell. We've been waiting for the Pharrell news, and we got that Pharrell news. So Pharrell, the studio, Doodles 2, it's all happening tonight. This is the Doodle version to Pharrell. This is a beautiful video, by the way, and you should watch it. The music is actually really dope. I love the song. I believe it's produced by Pharrell, and just really exciting things happening here. Welcome to the studio, the central hub for Doodles and member home base. It's the headquarters for the Doodles experience and collector journey, featuring holder profiles, rewards, and all kinds of things. So you can equip your Doodles with all kinds of things, create your own Doodle, get your Doodles 2 wearables and a beta pass ready. The power to build your dream Doodle begins tonight. So you need that pass. Step 1 is create a studio account and connect your Dapper wallet. We do know this is on Flow blockchain. We talked about that. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Doodles thinks it's needed for mass adoption. Use the beta pass in your wallet to create a blank Doodle and claim your Doodle's name. So what are the steps? And what do you need? Complete the following by May 4th to be entered into the random lottery. Hello world, complete the studio profile setup. Burn a beta pass to create your own Doodle. You need to have used the duplicator at least once. Open at least one Genesis box, which was their one of their NFTs that had some Doodles wearables in it. Currently hold a Doodle from the original 10K collection. So at launch, you'll be able to trade your Doodles. So once you create your own Doodle too, and you build on it, and you give it wearables, you'll be able to sell it and trade it on marketplaces. Be aware that if you sell your fully equipped doodles to characters, its name and all its wearables that are equipped will be sold with it. So you can name the doodle, you can put wearables on it, you can sell the wearables separate, or you can sell the whole dang thing together. So pretty interesting stuff there. And there is some wearables for Pharrell. It's called the Pharrell Pack. A limited edition box. There's only 300 of these boxes, curated by Pharrell, filled with wearables, and it comes with physical items. And it's in partnership with some of his favorite brands. Adidas, which is human race brand that he has with Adidas, and the BBC ice cream brand that he used to rock back in the day. And Doodles, 12 lucky Doodles will receive a redeemable for the extremely limited Pharrell 50th birthday edition green Sambas. So apparently, you'll be able to put in a raffle for this green shoe. Unlike the other Sambas in the pack, these will not be sold anywhere and are specifically for Pharrell's friends and family. Limited edition stuff. You can redeem your physical item in the studio between June 6th and June 15th. So a lot of really fun stuff happening there if you're a doodle. Napoleon Dynamite star John Heder to lead NFT animated series Space Junk. And what's cool is it's produced by the co-creator of Workaholics. So again, bigger and bigger names starting to see the benefits of Web3 and utilizing it to build some of their future projects. You love to see it. Ether Mail, reimagining email for Web3. I thought this was pretty cool. So it's read to earn, right? So the current email system and legacy email system users are targeted by advertisers who spam emails with little resources other than to block those individuals. Ethermail takes a cue from the cryptocurrency space by providing an opportunity to earn rewards as a user, and you get to choose what advertisers advertise to you. And that's called the paywall. It's a feature on the platform where users are able to define what kind of content they're willing to read in exchange for rewards. Advertisers have to pay in order to be able to access a user's inbox. Finally, damn it, pay me for my time and my eyeballs. I'm reading all these damn ads in my my Yahoo email. And yes, I still use Yahoo. I'm old school, even though I'm in Web3. It doesn't really make sense, but... And what's interesting is that EMC is the Ethermail's reward token. Eventually, the company will launch a native token, EMT, and all EMC will be converted to EMT. So reading certain emails on the Ethermail will reward you with EMT token, which is, of course, convertible to real money. And so there's a lot of benefits to having the email protocol as a Web3 thing, right? We know we can incentivize with those tokens and pay people for their reading time. Shout out to Steve Aoki and also Blau, who is not only the founder of the Web3 music platform Royal, where you can fractionalize music and share revenue as an artist with your fans, but also they started a NFT duo band called Punks, and the first single as Punks. It's called Concentrate. As you can see here, Steve Aoki tweeted it out. It's their new music from these two. They both own CryptoPunks. They're both excited about Web3, and they're both passionate about CryptoPunks enough to create a collaboration called It's the Punks. Moving on in to Parallel. Over a few days, we created a prototype, an Unreal Engine. There's really some incredible people building in Unreal Engine right now that they just dropped Unreal Engine updates, and indie devs are creating some crazy things we talked about on that previous show. But Parallel is building a new world for their cards. They're one of the largest gaming ecosystems in Web3, but they're primarily a card game. But they're bringing those card character avatars to life, as you can see here. Our goal was to utilize avatars, companions, and equipment from cards and vehicles. The release of the TCG remains the focus of Parallel Studios, but as we create cards, we create composable equipment that can be used in subsequent games. Our mission is to create many ways to play Parallel. And this is the first look beyond the TCG, which is the playing card game. So things are getting really interesting in this ecosystem. They've already done so much and had some pretty good success. Let's see what happens when they take it to the next level. Other side, they dropped some deets on LOTM. Environment tier dictates the number of workers. So pretty simple, doesn't need to be confusing. One farmer or one hunter worker per environment tier. But the caveat is that a quota is special. It can be assigned as a hunt, farm, or enchant, but only one at a time. So it's very straightforward. If you own an other deed with environment tier 5, only worker capacity of 5 is the limit. Same thing with 4, worker capacity limit of 4, 3, et cetera, et cetera. The only caveat is quotas can be any single one, but only one at a time. NFT-Fi, something similar to Blur incentives is happening on the loaning platform and we talked about earlier in the show, where Arcade had some really great volume for their loan and lending platform. NFT-Fi is very similar, and they're introducing NFT-Fi Rewards, the loyalty program for NFT lovers. NFT-Fi OGs, early users, your reward point balances are now live. Secure them within 21 days. And if you have never used NFT-Fi, now may be a great time to get started. There's nothing like Web3 products where they pay you to use it. With NFT-Fi Rewards, eligible borrowers and lenders can earn exclusive non-transferable reward points. OGs have dibs. If you use NFT-Fi before the snapshot has been taken, go ahead and secure your rewards. Some people have already been securing their rewards. This guy has 12,000 OG points. We're not sure what that equates to just yet, but they did mention this is not an offer of tokens or securities. Pretty much is. Let's be real. Not that I want SEC enforcement, but I'm saying certain persons are not eligible to participate, including U.S. residents. We know this was the same issue with Blur, where you had to just hit a button and say you were not from the U.S. and use a VPN. They're pretty much taking the same route. Also, a new song dropped. Gary Vee and Snoop Dogg. It dropped on April 28th. It's called Please Take a Step Back. And this is them actually in the studio making the song. There's a video of it. And the way you got this song as a drop is actually by burning one of the tickets from VCon of last year. Pretty cool, right? Providing utility to something that you would think would not have any further use. You can never know what's going to happen with Gary Vee. Expect the unexpected. He's the guru of marketing. Participants will burn their ticket in exchange for V Friends and Snoop Dogg. Please take a step back. The burn begins 4/28, and you have until May 8th. Not only then, phase 2, the first competition, a competition wherein the selected winner will receive the holy grail of Gary Vee's Bored Ape Yacht Club collection. We all know that Bored Ape's still at like a 70th floor, 60th floor. It's still a lot of money. If you win this competition, you get that Bored Ape. It's a pretty big deal. Shout out to V Friends. Nouns has been running one of their very interesting proposals that was won in the prop house. So this is make a video about nouns and win $50,000. They're giving away $200,000 in prizes. There's already tons and tons of videos. This is a small snapshot, but there's tons of videos from people all over the world doing some crazy stuff, trying to bring attention to nouns. And these are the rules. You had until April 30th to make a video and get at least 2,000 organic views on YouTube. There will be 4 winners, and each of them will win $50,000. This is what you got to do. Make a video explaining what nouns are and inviting people to join the Nouniverse. Upload your video to YouTube with the hashtag enter the Nouniverse. Make the most of it. You need at least 2,000 views. And then you win 50 grand. But there's some steep competition. There's some people jumping out of planes with nouns glasses on. There's some people who turn their motorcycle into a riding noun and driving down freeways and videotaping themselves. There's all kinds of stuff. So shout out to nouns. They really are such a cool project in Web3. As you know, I'm a huge fan. And there's also money to be made for you guys that are creative out there and want to make some content for nouns. Last but not least, let's jump on into the crypto segment. Congrats to the Bankless guys, man. I really do think they genuinely have a passion for crypto and want to see it thrive. And it shows from some of the big names that have invested into their $30 million early stage VC fund. Chris Dixon and Mark Andreessen from A16Z, the largest crypto fund in the world with billions of dollars. Somebody from the Ethereum Foundation, the co-founder of Polygon, co-founder of Immutable, founder of POAP. A DC investor who we know is a popular Twitter personality in the Ethereum ecosystem. All sorts of people have invested into their fund, and I'm excited to see how they put that money to work. So congrats to them. Also, Coinbase has had enough shit from SEC, and they have stricken back and said, we are suing the SEC. They've actually kind of threatened them, not threatened them, but came out and said, you guys don't want to F with us because we have a ton of resources and we're not backing down. They also minted this NFT and said, if you stand with us in this fight with the SEC, stand with crypto, mint this NFT for free. 88,000 have been minted. Also, we talked about this previously on the show, back then in December 19th, where Visa proposed using StarkNet for automatic recurring payments in crypto, which could be a pretty significant move, as maybe regular companies might allow for crypto payments if we can make these reoccurring. And they just put out a job posting for somebody who understands layer 1 and layer 2 solutions on Ethereum, Solidity, understands the new Ethereum enhancements, and all sorts of things. So maybe this stuff is finally coming to life. I think this could be a big push for adoption, as companies could maybe, especially a lot of tech companies we know have subscription-based models, and potentially we can now have that with crypto here. Maybe your Netflix subscription could be put on recurring payments with Ethereum or something, and who knows? Visa could be integrating that technology as we speak. It looks like they're hiring for some of that stuff. Shout out to Arbitrum. They're airdropping $120 million in ARB tokens to their most active DAOs on the chain, Arbitrum chain. The leading recipients include Treasure DAO, Sushi Swap, DopeX. And Treasure DAO and GMX will receive the highest allocated amount of 8 million ARB tokens each. That's a good amount of money for these DAOs and these protocols that could very well use it in this crypto bear market. Andrew Kong, who runs Mechanism Capital, noted that the additional 130 million flushed into the ARB ecosystem could help boost the liquidity across ARB DeFi projects. He pointed that on layer 1 platforms, this has happened before, and such incentives provided a flywheel that gave the L1 token 100% APY within those ecosystems. Shout out to the Lens protocol, which we know is building a decentralized social media protocol. It's called Scaling Lens to any social networking use. They said it was called Bonsai. They actually are going to change the name. But an optimistic L3 scaling solution that will process transactions at hyperscale and is designed to support the next generation of Web3 social users. It's open today and closed in beta for Lens devs. So Bonsai serves as a scaling solution to process Polygon transactions off-chain. And really, this is what it does. Ethereum baseline security, right? Ethereum is still the security portion of this process. Polygon is where the profiles and the network tokenization of the content happens. And then this new introduction of Bonsai is where social actions occur. Unlike L2 solutions, Bonsai doesn't compress transactions into L1. It sends and stores them on the data availability layer. And they did say that they stole this name by mistake, and they'll be changing that name to something else. Another piece of news, Google announced at Consensus this year, that we know Consensus was this week. There's a lot of Web3 stuff and tech stuff that being talked about currently over there, that it will team up with Polygon, of course. Polygon, it's always Polygon. Congrats to those guys, to help accelerate the growth of the protocol. Google Cloud to help accelerate on Polygon, and they're going to be giving out, they have a fund that they're going to be funding to build on this Polygon Labs. And of course, they're going to be hoping these people use Google Cloud. Thank you. That is all we have for you today on another episode of Web3 Weekly Alpha, where we try to grab you all the news that happened in this wonderful space and bring it to you in one shot. I'm your host, Serpunk, live at Innerspace Orlando, and I will see you guys next week for another episode of Web3 Weekly Alpha. Peace.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1. Hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream. Now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems. Topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to